What's up guys, new account here, and BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle is finally out. It is time to have fun, enjoy the game, climb up the ranks, cry about broken characters, blame the other guy for you losing, and asking Arxis where is my favorite character. I've been playing a few local casual games during the downtime before the launch, and I have a few tips to share with you today. If you are new to fighting games or a veteran to the anime stuff, there is something here for you. That being said, it's time for me to do the YouTube thing and give you 10 unsolicited tips for improving at BB Tag from day one. So before we jump into the gameplay tips, I just want to make sure everyone knows something. Don't judge the game or get discouraged after your first 5 to 10 online matches. Day 1 will have a very wide spectrum of players, from actual pro FGC players to people playing their very first fighting game. Your opponent's experience will vary drastically for the first few days. Give it time. If you're new to fighting games, you have to let the veterans get ahead of the matchmaking bubble. And if you're a veteran, you need to grind up before you can play in the Shark Tank. This is just the day 1 struggle, and that's okay because it happens in every game. However, Arxis Games does have a way to indicate a player's initial threat level. After about 10 matches, the game will place you in a threat bracket indicated by a colored square next to the player's name. Dark blue represents the low threat, while pink represents the highest threat. This threat will fluctuate as you win and lose against other players. So for example, green falls right in the middle. So if you're a green player, don't fight the pink players unless you're actually looking for a challenge. And if you are a pink player, try not to bully the green players. I don't think you actually lose or gain color ranks if you face opponents outside of your rank, but someone can correct me if I'm wrong. This is just a small tip to help you new guys to avoid running into really good players that may discourage you unless you're actually looking for a strong opponent. That being said, my first actual gameplay tip is to stop mashing wake up DP or wake up reversals. Seriously, just chill out. I'm not saying you should never DP, but there is 100% a time and a place for it. A wake up DP is a gamble that can get you killed. A block DP will lead into a combo that you cannot burst. Instead, time your DPs to read your opponent's bad habits and punish them for doing unsafe block pressure. Trust me, if you learn to stop mashing DP and you learn to bait your opponent's DP, you will be ahead of the crowd. If you're facing an opponent that loves to wake up reversal, just hold block and punish it. Eventually they'll stop doing it or they will die. Number 2. This goes to my new hatchling fighters out there. Stop mashing buttons. More specifically, stop mashing buttons on wake up. Mashing buttons won't make them happen any faster or any stronger. If you are getting off the ground, the last thing you should be doing is pressing buttons. Just block. Fighting games do in fact have turns. When you are getting off the ground, it is your opponent's turn to push buttons, and you should be respecting that. Of course, you could DP at your own risk, but mashing buttons shouldn't be your first option. I will admit there are times where you can mash out, but 95% of the time, your best option is to block on wake up. Hold block, see what your opponent is doing, and react accordingly. On the other hand, if you are facing an opponent that is mashing on wake up, learn to time your attacks so that they are meaty. For newer players, the simplest way to explain the meaty is to time your attack so that it hits your opponents as they are waking up off the floor. If your opponent is pressing a button at this time, this will result in a counter hit combo. Number 3. Use your push block. Push block is a powerful tool that can be used both defensively and offensively. At the cost of 1 bar, you can press A plus D to push your opponent off you while you are in block stun. There are times where your meter is better spent slowing down your opponent's momentum than saving it for a super. You shouldn't spam it, however, as it will burn through your meter and your opponent can actually bait you into doing an accidental DP. Ideally, you want to push block to force your opponent to whiff a move with high recovery. So on the other hand, if you're facing an opponent that loves to push block immediately after they're getting touched, you have 2 options to solve that. First option is to hit them with 1 attack and block. If they are trying to push block, this will result in an accidental DP. The other thing you can do, which is easier, is just grab them. If your opponent is on auto push block mode, grab them and keep grabbing them until they learn to break the throw. Number 4. Time your bursts. Avoid bursting immediately after getting touched. Bursts are in fact baitable and fully punishable. You can jump cancel your normal moves, anti-air it, or if you're going for the hardest of reads, you can actually punish it with a super. Some people have even been experimenting with assist calling as a punish. Try to burst after your opponent has committed to a heavy damage combo or a move that cannot be cancelled. Light damage combos, you're often better off taking the damage than regenerating the red health. Number 5. Learn to play the neutral before learning flashy optimal combos. You might be a lab junkie that is obsessed with optimal cool looking combos, but believe me, the combos and crazy mix-ups will come with time. The first day should be focused on learning how to play the game, its mechanics, and winning the neutral game. Learn how to move, learn what other characters do, learn how to zone, learn how to deal with zoning, learn how to handle rushdown, play with your team synergy, strategies you can use with your specific team. The list goes on and on. All of this will get you further than super optimized combos you'll probably drop 50% of the time. Instead, work on some easy bread and butter combos and some setups to get you going for day 1. The next day, add to those simple combos and try new tech. Do this gradually over time and you will learn the optimal stuff. But for the first few days, you want to know what it's like to be in a fight before you practice the technicalities of the fight. Number 6. Be careful with spamming assist on cooldown. If you're coming from other tag games, you're probably very used to using your assist often to win neutral. This game has elements of that, but you should be careful about doing it. Know why you're using your assist and what you're trying to gain with that assist. The assist meter is important in this game since it is tied directly into your burst. Last thing you want to do is burn through your assist meter and then take a full damage combo because you don't have a burst. However, and this may sound a little contradicting, you also want to be using your assist as much as you can. Using your assist actually builds your resonance level, which is proven to be a very powerful mechanic. The key takeaway from this tip really is to manage your assist meter and be mindful of it. Don't just spam mindlessly, know why you're using it. Number 7. Be careful with resonance activation. You don't want to be that guy that immediately uses resonance after your first character dies. Resonance activation is quote-unquote safe and does have invincibility frames, but it most definitely does not give you advantage. Using resonance poorly will give your opponent the freedom to do a free mix-up since they can move before you can. Instead, hold off on using it and look for a safe opportunity. Number 8. Use your anti-airs. If you have a Street Fighter background, you know exactly how important it is to have a good anti-air. While in BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, most characters, if not all, have an upper body invulnerable move. If you can react to your opponent's jumping, challenge them with an anti-air, eventually they'll stop jumping. One thing to note is that your DP is actually a true air unblockable when executed from the ground, except for Chie because hers is a counter. Therefore, you can actually use your upper body invulnerable move, and if they block it, you can just DP right after. If you call an assist, you can probably get a combo off of this. Another note about anti-air DPs is that they can be used to stop chicken blocking. Chicken blocking refers to players that love jumping and blocking at the same time to avoid high-low pressure. If you catch your opponent chicken blocking, you can actually DP them in the middle of the block string. Number 9. When you are blocking your opponent's attacks, relax. It's okay for your opponent to have his turn, it's going to happen. You just have to block. Take it easy. When you start panicking, that's when you will get opened up. When you think about it fundamentally, outside of the intense crazy setups, there's only really 3 ways that they can open you up. That's a grab, an overhead, or a cross up. So relax, look out for those, and you'll be fine. It's easier said than done, but it's very possible. And number 10. If you are serious about improving, join an online group so you have a live resource when you need it. The BB Tag Discord group is pretty lively and has friendly people that are willing to help you. The reason behind this is so that you can find good players that are willing to improve with you. There is less salt about losing to someone that is giving you advice and helping you with sets than to a random Gordeau player you met online. The second reason to find a group is so that you can find very specific matchup experience with good players. Most people will agree, Gordeau is a pub stomp. If you're having trouble with that matchup, go into your online network and say, hey, I'm having trouble with Gordeau. What do I do? Are there any Gordeau players that are willing to fight me for a few sets? And chances are people will help you. It is a great way to improve and to stay motivated. It's probably been a bit lengthy, but I hope this has been useful for the new players coming to the game. I tried to give information that will help both newer and veteran players alike, which is always hard to juggle. As long as one thing in this video helped your gameplay, I'd be happy with that. That being said, I've been New Account, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.